Welcome to the Don't Die Rusty podcast. I'm Rick Hanson, and we will be talking about living, not dying. We're all on this adventure together, and we will be interviewing people who inspire us to live our best lives. People with various backgrounds who will walk us down the trails they took to not die rusty. Adventure in life are many things to many people. It could be a sprint or an endurance race, but with each adventure, we become a better version of us. We hope you keep chasing those dreams, being the best you, and of course, don't die rusty. Hello, Don't Die Rusty Nation. This is Rick Hanson, your host. Tonight we have return guest Lindsey McElroy Ulrich, and if you haven't listened to the first episode with her, we're going to get a little more deeper tonight. But it's funny how when you have a conversation with a guest, and then they become friends, and then it's fun to message each other, and it's fun to text each other things. And she is probably one of my biggest inspirations at the moment because she's been through a lot in life here, and she keeps on kicking ass. And I'm just saying that she does. And so we're gonna get into this a little deeper, but first of all, she just got fourth in the Canyons 100-mile division, in women's division in California, and that is a big race. It has a lot of people and a lot of great athletes, and I keep on watching this, and I'm watching you in sixth place, and then I'm trying to see where you're moving, and I'm keeping up with you. Then I see you get into fifth place, and then I see you get into fourth place, and then you're hanging in there. And let me tell you something. I was cheering you on from afar, and like I said, you inspire me to be the best me, and then you keep on inspiring other people too, I know, because I see all the hoopla and people saying how much you inspire them. So you are making an impact in this world. So tell me, how did it feel to get place where you did in the 100-mile canyons?
As far as this, you asking me just what it felt like to get fourth. Yeah, it just took a while to really sink in. Like, it was a real, because I tried to execute the race as best I could, and when I got the free reign to go, it was kind of exciting because they were like, you're gaining on fourth, or not fourth, sorry. Yeah, gaining on fourth. And I was like, because anything can happen 100 miles. You just never know. Like, you never know what your body's going to do, what other people, other people's bodies are going to happen to. And we came in, I had picked up my pacer at mile 65. He ran about 10 miles with me, which was incredible to have them with me because it was the middle of the night, and you don't have to think as hard because they're with you, and I just follow their feet, and so that was amazing. It was kind of a funny story because I actually had lost both of my pacers and like a week before the race, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I'm asking everybody, like anybody and everybody, just like that I trusted, that kind of knew, even if you barely knew me, I'm just like, if you just come, like, I just need you to be with me. And it actually kind of worked out in a ironic way because I went to packet pickup on Thursday with my friend, and kind of just meandered around, got our stuff, and then we were looking at some stuff, went down this other row outside of the packet pickup, and to go look at some things. And I ended up running into one of my teammates when I used to run on Rabbit Elite, the trail team. And he was there to do the talk about, people first time, how to crew your crew and all that stuff. He was going to talk on that. And so he was there, and I'm just like, so what are you doing tomorrow? It's now 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He was going to be at Cool. He was already there. And I'm like, well, you want to run a couple miles with me? So he goes, sure. He goes, I'll be there. And he was there. He actually met us the aid station before to let me know he was going to be there, and he showed up, and so that was amazing. And then my other pacer, she put out a big thing because she told me like a week before, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like what am I going to do? And I ended up picking up actually one of the girls that ran on Rabbit Elite Trail as well, but I happened to pace her at Western States like a couple of years ago, and so she was all excited to pace me. And so she showed up after Chris dropped me off after he did the 10 miles with me, and they both were amazing. But it was kind of fun to have two people just happen to be old teammates of mine and people I knew, and somebody that I paced through Western States and food. So that was she just goes, I paid you back. We're good, right? I'm like, we're fine. She really pulled me along. When we came into Cool, I get in and my crew's, I'm like, okay, I want to change my shoes. I'm taking longer breaks. I'm not going to see him for a while. Like, Paul tells me, he's just like, hey, Annie Hughes is she's just left the aid station. She sat here for a really long time. And at the time, I was so tired. It wasn't clicking in who she was, and like not knowing she's just like this phenomenal runner. And so I'm like, okay, well, see what I got left in me. But there's not much left in this tank to go any faster than what I'm doing. But I'll dig as deep as I can. And so Mandy just kept pushing me along, and we ended up, oh gosh, late into the morning. The next day, we ended up passing her. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, and I just started running scared after that. It's like, okay, I cannot let this, I have to just run like hell right now. Like, this is like do or die. We still had like, oh God, probably 15 miles left to go. And just every little, I was just hurting down to the bone, and I was having issues with my knee, and I just like, okay, just turn it off. Like, brain, we're not hurting. We're good. We got to go. And so we come into one of the aid stations, and as we're leaving, she shows up. So I'm like, oh crap. Okay. We definitely do not have a big enough gap between the two of us. And I'm like, I know she's such a good runner, and she's going to end up passing me because like she's going to close strong. I just know it.
Yeah.
And so Mandy is just like, let's go. She goes, you quit looking back. That's my job. And so, so she pushed me, and we, all the way till almost up to Roby Point with a mile to go. Paul meets us down at one of the hills we had to climb up to get on the road, and I'm climbing, and of course I look back again, and he yells at me not to look back. He's just like, I'll take care of that for you. Because I'm just like, God, I do not want this to come down to like, last minute we were both sprinting in, I would say running hard in, trying to beat each other. And so we finally got up to the road, and because like the tracking was kind of wonky, so they didn't really know where she was. And so we get up there, and Paul's just like, Lindsay, you can relax. Like, we just take a breather. We're good. And I'm just like, are you sure? Because I'm like, I don't want to lose this place. Like, and so we just, came in, and I still didn't believe I got fourth. I just was like, I did not believe that, because like, I just, but we did, and I was really happy with it. I was a little bummed because I wanted to try to break 24 hours, but it's like one of those things, you look back, you're like, if I would have just not sat that long at the aid station, if I wouldn't have done this, it's like, no, that's the race you ran. You execute it like you were supposed to, and really just tried to, it's hard to stick to a plan when you are like, I'm such an impatient person. Like, it's like, this is a plan. Like, this is how we're going to race. I don't want you going until this time. And so it's hard because you just like I'm being used to being a track athlete, and it's just like, okay, we're going now. It's the second lap, now we have to go type thing. But definitely teaches you a lot. I learned a lot about myself in that race. Just a lot of different, like, okay, we can be patient. We can trust the process, Lindsay. We can trust what's being said. Like, things happen. It's okay. But it was definitely a day that I'll probably remember for a while, because my daughter, my husband got to come down, and that was really special to have my daughter at the finish line, and see her there, and crew and me and all that all through the night. That was they showed up right at the start of the race. I was running down. They started, and then I hear them cheering, and I was like, "Oh, they showed up!" Like, so that was really
Well,
nice.
did your daughter bring any hurdles?
She should have, right? She did it in practice, and while I was out there running for hours and hours. Yeah.
Well, I kind of have two questions for you. And it's interesting to me, like how you know your bodies and trusting the process, because I'm
Yeah.
like you, and I'm not patient.
Mhm.
And I don't trust process. I know there's a process, and I'm learning. It's funny, as I grow older, maybe I'm learning more of a process,
Yeah.
because learn to trust the processes, but it's tough at times because I want it
It
now.
is. Yeah, it
It-
is.
But I don't know if you've been watching the Cocodona.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, not as closely as I used to, just 'cause I have to work, but like I had definitely been keeping up with what's been happening and who won and all that.
so in that, I have two questions, because I watched last year's. They have like a YouTube. It was about the men's the race. They had a video about the men's race and how that was going. But it's in what I find is, how do you know? I mean, it's amazing to me to be set up for your electrolytes, to be set up for everything, and then you're putting your bodies through what you're putting it through, and then like this year, Courtney went out at, was it 80 something or 90? I mean, she was right in there. She
Yeah,
was
100, yeah, 104, 106, I think.
yeah. It was. I mean, it was close to the 100 mark. I couldn't remember exactly,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she was smoking, and then all of a sudden you hit that wall or something. Nobody knows yet because it'll come out, but but
yeah,
I mean, like, your electrolytes are down. So how do you get ready? I mean, because there's two things that I laugh. I because everybody just seems so loose at at the beginning of the race. They're like, just like this, and I'm going, you're running 250 miles in that race. If you don't know what the Cocodona is, and I might be saying it wrong, but you're running 250 miles roughly from, is it Scottsdale to Flagstaff, roughly?
yeah, yeah.
And
Mhm.
and I've been watching that race because this, like I said, it interests me. But is one thing that interests me. How do you know your body? Like, how do you know? Like,
Yeah,
I am losing electricity, more or less. You're
yeah,
eating. I need to eat now, and some people throw up, and some people don't. You got to keep on getting something in your body
yeah.
and keep moving. That's
Hmm.
just crazy to me. You know your body, and then if you'll answer that one, then I have one more question for you.
We, for me, I know it's different for everybody, but for
Yeah.
me, I take what I know I'm going to be drinking during the race, just so my stomach gets accustomed to having that in my system, and when I'm stressed, and part of that is just putting it into your training, even if I'm going to eat before I go run, because I want my stomach to get used to having food in my stomach while I'm running, which is touch and go for me on that one. But I try to do my best. But we just train. I train just with what I know I'm going to be drinking, like the electrolyte drink that I know. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes it changes because
Yeah.
sometimes during the race you just like, I can't take any more of that,
You-
and then there's certain things that, like, with like when we go heat train, there's certain things we do to help with that as
Mhm.
well. Just get the stomach used to being under stress and having that in your system to help. And obviously sometimes it works and sometimes your body's just like, nope, I'm good. Like we're not gonna have that. I probably in my race, I tend to try to just have like for food wise, just kind of more bland food and things that you prep all this food like enough for like your whole crew to eat and then some,
Mhm.
and then sometimes you don't even end up eating any of it. None of it
Yep.
sounds good. Like at the time, even though you've
Mhm.
trained with it or that's what you like or eat all the time. For me, I was like, okay, I'll make a pizza. I'll make a cheese pizza. Oh, I made a bunch of grilled cheese sandwiches. A bunch of different things, and I probably the only thing I consistently ate. Oh, I made pancakes too. That's right. The
Mhm.
only thing I consistently ate was my grilled cheese sandwiches. That was it. And then probably the best I've probably ever eaten in a race ever. There's times you just don't want to feel like eating, but like you have to. But it's nice because the drinks they have now with all the new drinks they come out with, they have a lot of calories, which I know it only gets you so far, but
Mhm.
it helps to kind of substitute in if you can't eat as you want to. I know by mile 75, I was done. I came in and I was like, no mas.
Yeah.
In fact, Paul's just like, here, you need to eat some potatoes. So I grabbed them and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll eat them. And then I
Yeah.
just go, no, I'm good. No, thanks. And I just threw them on the ground. But there's just some things you just can't predict. Like your body's just going to decide, we're good. I'm done. I've had enough, and I can't do this anymore. You just try to train with it and try to figure out what works for you. Sometimes it's trial and error, and sometimes you're doing trial and error in races too, just to see what you think you can handle. For me, it's almost different every time, even if I prep with a million different things. So,
I experienced it last year, but when I go hunting, I have a friend, John Barklow, who
yeah,
said, "Don't change what you're eating
yes,
when you go up into the mountains hunting for a week. Why would you? You want to get off of caffeine, so you don't take any caffeine. That's going to kill your hunt, or you know,
yes,
like for me." I'm a bland food eater when if I'm going
yeah,
out for 7, 8 days, whatever, 7, 10 days, whatever, I'm a bland mostly.
mhm,
I maybe when I get to the last day or like when you're packing up and getting ready to go,
yeah,
I might have something spicy just
yeah,
because I know I'm not going out. But last year when we did the 7 peaks in one day, I understand because there are things just don't taste like I haven't had a couple things because
yeah,
it stopped tasting good at that time, and I
yeah.
understand that part.
Sometimes it just doesn't want to settle in your stomach,
Yeah.
or it just doesn't sound good anymore, and just like
No.
hopefully these liquid calories will get me through. So
And I personally don't like to have a heavy stomach anyway. I don't really like to eat. I might have a bar here and there, but I don't eat usually like when I'm hunting. I might have a sandwich, depending on what you're doing, but
yeah,
I'd rather eat in the morning and then eat in the evening and then light during the day because I just don't like to feel heavy, my stomach to feel heavy, and that's the way
yes,
I feel.
yeah,
But that's
yeah,
just it.
yeah,
And so, but we'll go hunting someday together and we'll find out what
yeah.
goes
Oh,
on.
I would love
There
that.
we
Oh
go.
yeah,
So,
for sure, for
a- a-
sure.
and my other question is, so I just want to know the mentality, and then we're going to get into the other things. But
Yeah.
so I was watching a YouTube of this year's Cocodona again, like I said, and the girl that was I can't remember what place she was in, but they went and they knew Courtney had dropped out, but the girl didn't know that Courtney dropped out,
Oh, they didn't
and her
tell her.
team didn't tell her,
I think that's
and they
genius.
and they kept on pushing. How would you be
Yeah.
mad if nobody told you and you're trying to catch her? And because here's what happened. This is what I grasped from the video was like she might have either been in wherever like, I don't know if they have where she would have been sleeping, but she might have been done in, and the girl didn't even know they passed her, and then her pacer came up with her, and this other guy was this. I'm watching this. The other guy's going. Her pacer's going like, "Don't say," like telling him not to say a word.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because she just kept on pushing because she didn't know. That
Huh.
is, I didn't know if you
That's
would be mad because they didn't tell you, or because maybe you're going to relax. It's kind of like
yeah.
Florida State is behind by 25 points and they come back and beat the Oregon Ducks by 30.
Okay, now I'm
No,
getting personal. I'm just kidding.
but do you think you would relax if you knew that that's where I'm going with that. It's
Yeah,
kind of
so
interesting. It's kind of brilliant in one way. I just don't know as an athlete, how would you feel?
Um, for just from personal experience from this last race, I know for me, when I was moved up to fifth, I remember just going, okay, I made it to the top five. That's like way more than I thought I was gonna do. Part of me, like, I wanted to just settle because I was like, well, okay, I'm happy with top five. But then part of me is like, no, Lindsay, like this is you. This isn't what you came out to do. You came out to push your body, to go to the limit, to see what you could do. So for me, it's a personal thing. But I have to say that, but when they told me that Annie Hughes had just left the aid station and we were there when I had just come in, I know it did definitely put a fire in my belly more than I had. And I think I like knowing that because then I'm like, okay, like even if we don't catch her, we're going to do our damnedest to do it and try our hardest to get as close as we can. I mean, I have the utmost respect for her.
Mm.
We became friends over this, so it's been super cool. But for me personally, I like to know, just because it keeps that drive in me going. And I know,
Yeah.
because it's kind of twofold with me, like more of a personal journey for me, just to do it, to go do the hard things and see what my body can handle. But then the other part of me is I'm still super competitive, so I want to, I want to be, I want to be there. I want to do the best I can, and so I personally like knowing because it definitely puts puts the puts that fire in me a little bit more. And I most likely I do like knowing, and just because it just definitely keeps that drive in me, just like, okay, what can we do to get better at this? What can we do to move closer? What do we need to do? And so I like to know because and like going back to that girl in Cocodona, uh I think, I get why they didn't tell her, because maybe she would have settled. But I think too, though, if you're after something more than just a place, like I was after more than just getting fourth place, I really was after trying to break 24 hours. I feel that can still keep you going, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Um,
Well, yeah, because it would help you reach your goal of 24
yeah,
hours. Because
yes,
it's kind of like, to me, it would be like in track when you put a you have the slow heat and you have the fast heat.
yeah,
And if you put the mixed in the slow runners with the fast runners, you're not going to get the best
yeah,
times because they don't have to. Because mentally, I think as humans, we're ahead by, even if they're ahead by 30 yards, it's still
yeah,
not enough because your times aren't well. So I would
yeah,
agree with you. You got something to strive for when you know you're chasing something that's as good as you are or better. So,
yeah,
because once you win, that gives you confidence,
yeah.
and you
It does,
become, and
definitely.
then you have something to build on.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I got done, and a few days later, talking to Paul and stuff about the race, and I was just like, at the time, right now, but plans always change. I was just like, no, I want to go back. I know I can run better. I know I can run better. I want to go back and do better. just because I'm very critical on myself, and when I break things down, I'm like, this could have been better, this could have been better, this could have been better, but it's like,
Yep.
no, Lindsay, just take what you got, learn from it, and then work on those spots that you feel you have a weakness in, and we'll get better at that. That's how I look at it. Like, I have a hard time going back and doing races too, so just because there's so much out there to do, and so many races to do, so many places to go. I mean, we talked about that before, but it's fun to go back to the same race you did. Granted, it was cooler conditions. I mean, so that's why everyone ran so well. And that's part of the reason I was able to eat so well too. Because it's hard to compare with ultra running because it's different every time. The courses, everyone runs different courses, different places. And so it's hard to really compare what I could do. So it's like, okay, maybe we go back and see if we can do better. So.
Well, it snowed on you. It was crazy weather for you guys.
Actually, we actually were ahead of the weather.
Oh.
We actually were ahead of the weather. It was cold. The start was cold, but we didn't have any rain. It was super foggy. Just Oregon Coast days, just at the beginning of the race. But we actually really got good weather for us. We did. It started to rain towards, like, I got done, and then probably like 10 minutes later, it started to really rain at the finish line. So I was just barely ahead of the weather the whole way. And we had a beautiful night. It was cool, but a little bit of drizzle, but nothing like pouring down rain or anything like that. So we got lucky. We got really lucky.
You did.
So yeah.
Well,
but those guys didn't. They had all the crazy weather. So
well, congratulations again. I loved it, and I'm going to attribute your placing because I put that post out. Don't Die Rusty is cheering you on, you and Emily on. So yes. So, but
that was really thoughtful of you. Thank you for that.
Well, I mean, you guys are part of the family, so I got to cheer you both on. So, but I want to get what has made you tough and why I keep on seeing these things of toughness. I want to get into the stroke part if we can, because you put. Did you tell me when's your birthday?
October 19th.
And that's when you had your stroke, correct? Or was it close?
I had it. Yeah, I did. We went out to dinner the night before, and middle of the night, like on the 19th, is when I had it. Yeah.
And you can answer anything, and you can tell me whatever. But I mean, how long ago was that?
See, it was what? I gotta look at my tattoo. It's been what? 13 years. Yeah.
And you are doing what you're doing and getting fourth place in a major race. That's amazing.
I guess part of me, I just was determined to prove everybody wrong.
How?
I mean,
well, it's funny. I went to the chiropractor this afternoon before I got here because sometimes my hip gets a little out of place and I can hang upside down as long as I can, but it won't pop up. I mean, it's nagging. It isn't like painful. It's just nagging.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this. So I would love to have you tell me a little story about how you tell us, the audience, how you got through the stroke part, and because there are people, I think, that give up in life that the doctors don't give them hope. I think there has to be a change in I'm not saying all doctors, but I'm saying there has to be a change of giving people hope, giving people like they can do stuff. I know that some people would say that that's wrong maybe, but I don't think it's wrong. I think if you don't have hope, then you aren't going to try,
Yeah. I think doctors try to mask it instead of helping people get better.
Yes.
They really do.
So can you tell me, because you have the toughness and determination like I've never seen.
Well, thank you. Um, I probably helped some really stubborn, I'm sure too, but um,
Your husband
but
would say that, or your kids for sure, right?
yes, my parents more than anybody for sure. I was the kid that was in the trees, and my parents were looking for me, and I'm flying around in the trees, and hey, mom and dad, so it's like, get down from there, no. So, um, uh, no, I've always been, I mean, even since I was little, just kind of, um, I don't know if it helped just because I had older sisters or whatever, but I always was always determined to do things better than my sisters, I guess.
Yeah.
I will be honest, like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, my oldest sister definitely did inspire me to be the best person I could be. But I really think after my stroke, I don't know, it just everything really shifted for me. Like even my personality, like which they say is very common when you have a brain injury happen. And it's and I think my doctors just not wanting to work with me because they didn't really want. I know they wanted to work with me, but they also were very just adamant that I will be fine. I'll get through it, and I can't even remember. I can't remember how to change my daughter's diapers right now. I can't. I can. It's hard for me to even use my left side. I can barely use my left side. And I'm like, I'm not giving up on this. You're not going to take my life from me like this. And I'm not going to be sitting on the couch doing nothing. My kids are still little. I want to be in their life. I want to be able to go play ball with them or go do something with them. And so I would say my kids were like a huge driving force for me to get better and determined you're not going to tell me no. Like I'm going to get better. And if I have to go from doctor to doctor to doctor to find somebody that will believe in me and help me, I will do that because this is not the life I want to live. So I had to relearn a lot. As a lot of people know, my left side doesn't work like it used to. I was really actually barely couldn't use my left side barely at all for a good 4 or 5 months, and I had to go like just rehab after rehab after rehab, just trying to get that connection back that we can make this work. We can make this work. We can make this work. And so in Lindsey fashion, I like to do everything to the extreme. So, and running always has been a huge passion of mine, obviously. And I wanted to be back running because was therapy for me. And, when somebody tells you like, well, you're probably just never going to run again. I was like, oh no, we're going to run again. You're not going to tell me that. You're not taking this away from me. So I was, of course, most people would be like, okay, yeah, maybe a 5K, 10K, something reasonable. I'm like, no, I'm going to get into ultra running because I really want to prove them wrong that I'm going to do this. I'm going to show them that you can't take something away from me that I love. And I mean, because they were really pretty much just writing me off, like, that this is what your life's going to be. And I was like, no, it's not. I just went from doctor to doctor until I found a wonderful, so we were in Florida at the time when this all went down. And so basically I really didn't have any family around, just my father-in-law at the time. And so we kind of went through it on our own. I don't know why. We just kind of fought through it, like my husband and I, and just figured it out. And he actually was the one that was, I think we needed to just make a big goal and we're going to go do it. And so and I think I mentioned in the last podcast that I went and did the Eugene Marathon, my first marathon ever. And that was kind of the springboard to, okay, we're going to make this even more of what we like to prove them wrong. We're going to go bigger. We're going to go bigger. And so I ended up finding we had moved to Idaho after about 10 years in Florida, moved back home. closer to family, and found a wonderful chiropractor, like a naturopath, that I give him credit for bringing me back. He was just like, we worked we worked for months and months and months together just to get the left side to function, for my brain to be able to remember things better. Maybe that's part maybe that's part of the reason I went into ultra running, because I just forgot how bad things hurt. I don't know, but so yeah, so he got me back going, and we really pushed the limits, and there was a lot of very dark days getting through it, very hard days, a
Were
lot
you
of
mad at yourself? Like, I mean,
um
your dark days, were they like you were questioning if you should be doing it, or were they're just like, why did this happen to me?
um I never I never felt sorry for myself. I think I was just more angry at my body, like angry, like, why did you do this to me? Why did this happen? I never, I know I just fell into like a dark depression, more so because I was really mad at my brain because I couldn't remember anything. I mean, and I couldn't remember just basic life skills. And so I was just mad, just a very bitter, angry person, because the stroke really changed me into just a really not a good person for a while. And I think I knew that, but there was like nothing that I could do at the time to control that, if that makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you know what you're doing, but it's like your brain's just my brain was just doing it. I couldn't. It was like I was mad because I could not control the situation of what was happening. And I mean, I told my husband, like, years later, I was just like, I would not have ever hated you if you divorced me, because I mean, I felt I was that bad of a person. And but he still put my son through all of it, even though I mean, it was like, for example, like little things, like I would just get mad if he was talking to somebody else or was laughing with somebody else, because I couldn't make him laugh anymore because I was in this like brain that just wasn't working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just really silly things that really don't matter,
Mm-hmm.
mattered to me. And so it just was it was just not it was just a lot of dark days. And so we just fought through it, and it took a lot of rehab to get back to where I am. And I just was like, let's make this bigger and better. And I'm just gonna go. All those doctors, the neurologists that didn't want to work with me, I want to write them a letter. Say, look what I'm doing now. Like, you told me this
Yep.
was never gonna happen. I never was gonna be. Granted, I don't run normal, but I will take it over not ever being able to run. But I guess what I'm getting at was like, that's kind of where I got a bigger determination for. It was just, I'm gonna fight through this. I'm determined to get through it. And it was hard. It was hard, but I think I had just all the right people at the time by my side to help me get through those times. And I think that was a very, very important piece of it, was having all those cheerleaders with me that were like, you can do this, Lindsey. Like, we're going to get through it, and it's going to be okay. I always say, things might look different, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. And so I think with ultra running, that's helped me kind of propel that with getting through races like this 100-miler, to like just that determination of, I hurt everywhere, but it's going to hurt no matter what I do. I have to get to the finish line, and we're going to have to get there. And, body, I know you're mad at me, but I am determined, and we're going to get to that finish line. Even if it takes us 28 hours, we're going to do it. We're going to get through it. But I think that's where my whole driving force came, was just, I was determined to get better and be there for my kids more so than anything. I talk about running and getting through all that, but I really feel that the truth is, like, I wanted to be there for my kids more than anything. I would have given up being competitive and racing just to be with my kids. Like still run, but just be with my kids. That was my huge driving force was to be here as a mom to my kids and not just to sit at home and not be able to do anything. Yeah.
Well, do you think that
Mm.
here's what I'm saying, and we talked a little bit about it the last episode, was like running is therapy, and that helped your kids out because you were running or trying to improve yourself every day, and your kids get to see that mom's doing that, but you're also helping yourself mentally as well as physically.
Yeah.
And those are the things that people don't understand ever,
Mm.
is how like being outside, like my sunrises
Yes.
are, to me, are therapeutic
Oh,
as well as
absolutely.
as well as just bettering myself, because I understand that angry attitude somewhat, not to your extent,
Yeah.
but I've talked about that earlier, like I was feeling lethargic. Now this is funny because I'm going to get into your naturopath stuff here in a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was feeling lethargic like later, and like I like this, not the real Rick, but I've went to my functional doctor,
Yeah.
and we finally got everything kind of going in the last 2 weeks. And if you ever meet me now, you're gonna meet the real Rick, because I mean, I was not that I was different. It was just like I'd have a bad attitude or something, and
Mhm.
the walks were help. I mean, my morning stuff or my climbing now helps me, but there was still something missing. And
Yeah.
now I come home and this will be a different episode, but by what I've been doing, I think it's improving my relationships with a lot of people, because I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, like you said, like there is sometimes in this state, like you, like Cindy could eat wrong and I'm pissed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you have to eat that crunchy stuff? You know what I mean? Or what?
That's so funny you say that because I'm the same way.
You know what I mean? But it's not. It shouldn't worry us.
Yeah.
But it did. It's like little things, and now I feel like I know it's been 2 weeks, and I've been taking what I was supposed to do, and I'm eating differently, and eh, eh, and it's funny because I blame my knees for things, but
Mhm.
now I'm starting to run a little bit more than I used to. See,
Oh, that's
I
great.
because of you guys. Like I said, it's because of you guys.
Oh,
And the other
that means a lot.
question,
Thank you.
because I think the naturopath people are caring, and they were trying. I think they're curious, and I think like my functional doctor is curious about what's truly bothering me,
Yeah.
what's truly making you this way, because we can fix this stuff. We don't have to fix the symptom. Well, they aren't. We're trying to
Yeah.
get to the root of the problem, not just the symptom. So I
Yeah.
think they have hope because they're curious. How can I help this person?
Yeah.
Instead of, you know what, I'll go give you or me a pill, and they're going to feel good for a little while, but then I
Right.
got to give them another. I either have to up the dose, or we got to try something else.
Yep.
And I d- and
That's true. It's true.
I'm not there.
Mm.
I'm not there. Like I said, I talked to my
Yeah.
chiropractor today, and her husband went to the same functional doctor I did on other things.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
interesting, and then we
Yeah.
talked about roughly the same thing. So I just think that you go through things, and yes, we need the doctors to do what they need to do, but there's I just think we need hope, and we need to go into a different realm. But I
Yeah.
do believe that health in America can get better with. I think we're starting to see a tide turn into the
Yes. Yes.
natural and the functional and that stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
And my other question was, did you have your stroke in Florida then?
I did.
Or you
Yeah,
did?
I did. Hmm.
And then you moved up then you moved to Idaho.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, originally from the Northwest, but we
Yeah.
had a stint down in Florida for about 10 years.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we just wanted to be closer. We're missing family and wanted to be closer to home and really just figure out like try to figure out where I could go to get better too. But came home to so my kids could be with their cousins and all that too as well. That was a habit in Florida. Like I said, but just was my daughter was what 3 at the time, and my son was just in kindergarten. So
Huh.
they, so yeah. So for him, I mean, for him, Chris McKinsey doesn't remember a lot of it because she was so
Yeah.
little. But for him, he kind of remembers, but it was kind of like grandpa just came and picked him up, and I was in the hospital, and he spent a few nights with grandpa, and we just told him like, mom's just not feeling good right now, and she needs to be in the
Mhm.
hospital, and so yeah, we just kind of, it was just so like it's interesting. So my mom, um, she didn't really I just never put any of my health problems on people. I just feel like I didn't want to burden them with it, and I didn't want to burden the family. I don't know why. It was like it wasn't like we were scared to ask for help. It was just we were just there, and we had friends and good people around us, and so we were okay. And I mean, but we definitely could have used help. But
Yeah.
uh, I could have for
Yeah.
the kids, but so but we just yeah, my mom just found, I mean, she really just the last few years really really knows my story. Um and she's just and I'm super close with my mom. I mean, she's somebody I
Yeah.
call weekly, if not
Mhm.
daily. So but I don't know what it was. It just wasn't I don't know, it's just when someone I don't know, it's hard to explain when something like that happens and you need to ask for help and you don't mind asking for help, but at the same time, it was like we can get through this by ourselves. We'll be fine. We don't need to, like I said, burden people with all this and all that. When my mom's just like, if I would have known the extent of what you had gone through and what was happening, she goes, I would have flown down there and stayed until you got tired of me, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel bad about that, but I think at the time too, I wasn't all there. So it was like
Well, yeah.
I wasn't all there. I wasn't clear. That was just not something I think I thought of at the time. And that's definitely not me. I'm definitely a person like I will call my mom if any, my head hurts or something, So I just wasn't thinking on that realm at all anymore. It was just because I could barely even remember how to get my kids ready for school. That's how bad it was. So
Well, here's the deal. Is my mom now is going to be going on 3 years this year, I think, 2, 3 years. Anyway, before my mom died, I
yeah,
called her every day. I, it doesn't matter if it was 5 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, it doesn't
yeah,
matter if it was a half hour. And I would call her every day because here's the deal. Once something happens, you'll never get that voice back again. And you'll
no,
never get that advice back again. And you'll never get that feeling back again. I put out you know, I would call her because she needed, I mean, I think you saw that post I put out the other day about
oh yeah,
listening
yeah,
or,
yeah,
and sometimes I needed to listen and sometimes I needed a shoulder to cry on or whatever, you
mhm.
know what I mean? And sometimes I don't know if your mom does too, but sometimes she'll tell me how was, like maybe you need to buck up just a little bit here,
Yeah,
partner. And then sometimes it was just I mean, just one of those things that you just listen. But I,
Yeah.
I, and it's funny because I still have a couple. I'm thankful I've saved a couple messages, like
Yeah.
she left me. And there is nothing like to have a mom say I love you, and you can still hear that voice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. So I understand how you're that, but I also understand being tough and not trying to bother people maybe too. But
Hmm.
I understand, like, I don't, I mean, like I said, I've never been in that predicament, but I'm saying forgetting things, I've been around enough people to understand that, some things you're you're overwhelmed somewhat, weren't you? Or, you know what I mean? You have kids to
Yeah.
take care of, and I understand that part, that there's so many things, and you're just trying to make yourself better.
I got socially, I just kind of shut everybody out because I couldn't remember things. So I didn't ever want to talk to people. And I definitely did not want to be in any sort of social interaction or event. I even struggle to this day to go to a big social event. And I think it was just that fear because I was just like, well, I'm not going to be able to remember. Maybe I'll remember your name, but they might tell a story about something that happened, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember that. No, I don't. It's like so. Um, so I don't want to be around it because then I don't have to deal with it anymore, and I can just be in my own little comfort space, which isn't healthy either. I know, but at the time, that's what it was. It was just like I don't. I just I just want to be in my own bubble right now. I want to be in my own bubble because I don't want anybody to think less of me. I don't want people to think I'm dumb. I was just like, I'm
Yep.
good. So I think that was a lot of it too. But that was a big, big struggle for me to be going back to social things and uh, being around people socially. And I like I said, I still struggle with that to this day. Just maybe my husband will tell you sometimes that it's like pulling teeth to get me out the door to go see friends. And it's like I love them, I love being with them, but I'm like I don't want to go.
Well,
So
well, well, that's me sometimes too. Like, there, we were going. I think Cindy wanted to go out for supper the last week, and I said, I really just don't feel like going out. And
yeah,
the other thing is, I haven't had a stroke, but don't think that you're alone because I don't remember people's names either. And I've had people walk up and tell me stories, and I'm looking at the face, going, I've
yeah.
actually had some people I'm talking to and said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I said, "No, I don't."
I'm sorry, but I don't.
And then then finally they strike up some, oh yeah, now I kind of remember. But I enjoy meeting new people and seeing new people. I like to be social, but then there's other times I need 9 solitude days and 1 social day.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
that's a nice balance. Nice balance. I it's
it's funny how life starts changing
mhm.
as I get older too. If I get to 9 o'clock, that's late. and I and if I'm out, I'm looking at the clock, going, we're getting close to
When it's
9.
almost my bedtime.
I won't get to bed till 9:30, 10.
I
We
miss
better start thinking about leaving right now.
That's funny. That's
Because
funny. Yeah.
I'm
You
still
know,
going to get
I'm
up and
because you got to get up for your walk, right? Yeah. I, I wish I was more of a morning person like you, but
that's all
I mean,
right.
if Paul listens to us, he knows. He's just like, Lindsay never sleeps. She just never sleeps.
well,
So,
a week ago or so, you were partying all night long anyway, so it don't really matter.
yeah, right.
You were running when I was sleeping.
That's why you're sleeping. Saw the sun come up. So,
Exactly. But
oh,
and then I would look forward to us going on a little hunt or something. We're going to meet someday for sure and go do
Oh
this
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, definitely. I really am interested 100%. Like
Yes,
I am.
we will do that. We will set this up. And
Yeah.
the other thing I want to say is like if we have the US trials in Oregon again, I would love to go to the US trials. I'd love to be in that stadium.
Yeah, it's about probably
Uh,
because
especially crazy.
I just remember the first one of the first trials that we went to. My daughter was, she'd been 5, maybe 5. I can't remember. She was little. So we take the kids to go, and we all we were huge Emma Coburn fans. Like at the time, we still are, but we're like
Yeah.
she was big
Yeah.
Emma Coburn. And so we were super excited when she won, and we happened to go. This was kind of fun about Eugene because athletes do go out and go to the different bars and everything. We just happened to be at the same place that Emma Coburn and her family were coming to celebrate. We're sitting there, and her and her sister walk in, and everybody's going crazy. And the first thing they do is, this is why I even love her even more. I mean,
Yeah.
most people would be like, you're weird, but they buy a round of shots for the family. Her and her sister take a shot, and then they go and take a shot to celebrate together, everybody. And her brother walks by us, and he had like a bag of shirts with him. I'm like, hey, I go, are you giving those shirts out? He goes, well, it's kind of for the family, but I go, he saw my daughter, he goes, but I think she should get one of these. And so he handed her, a Go Emma shirt.
Yeah.
And and so my daughter was, oh my God, she was so excited. So she puts it on, and then Emma actually comes up and talks to her for a little bit, and then she leaves. And as we're leaving the restaurant, they're all still there. And we're leaving, and Emma was kind of at the entrance of the place and walking out, and she just looks over. She's all, hey, Mackenzie, bye. And my daughter about fell over backwards. She just left going, Mom, she remembered my name. She remembered my name. It's just a fun place to be for track because I mean, they're all over after the meet's over, just going about and out with the crowds. And, I've had people show my kids their medals, and yeah.
I'll hang out with you then, because if people don't, Emma Coburn, she's a world-class steeplechaser, but she's amazing. Yeah, so that is very, very cool.
So we always have a good time. We always end up, and of course we have friends that know people to get you into places to go meet people and whatever.
And that's just, isn't that fun? Because how we have relationships. When you were talking about earlier about your rehabbing from your stroke, like it's fun to have friends that believe in you, and you surround yourself with the good people, good things are going to happen.
Yeah.
I've been places where people said, how do you meet these people? I said, I don't know, I just happened to run into but I think if you're authentic and you're real, I don't ask people for anything. I'm just saying, hey, let's have a conversation, you and I, and I like where this friendship is going, where you're a trusted friend, really. Because I like that message you send me sometimes, or I send you a message here and there, just like, I mean, it's not an everyday thing, but it's like, it's one of those things. And and so, yeah, you can certainly plan on me coming out and sitting in those chairs watching track.
Yes.
All day long.
Yes. It's super fun. And I would love to have you. I would love to have you and show you around, and maybe even bring you out to the coast to see the ocean.
That would be so fun, so someday it's going to happen.
Yeah, it will. It will, because there's no other place to have the trials but Eugene. It's just you can't. It's just the mecca of everything, and all the athletes want to have it here. they get super excited. So it's really fun.
Well, then we'll plan that. I know I'm getting a little long here, and we had a little technical difficulties, and you probably
Yeah.
everybody's saying, "Hey, get off talking to Rick, and I need to talk to you or something," you know. But but what someday we're not going to have to hang up here. We'll be just sitting
Yeah.
around and talking and having a good time and telling
Yes.
stories. So,
Yeah.
um, I I instead of asking you what's the good life to you, is that at it right now, what are your goals for the next 6 months or so?
Ooh. Like racing wise?
Well, just racing life, do you have any trips planned? Do you have what races
Yeah.
are you planning? We'll say in the next year. I'll give you
Yeah.
a year. That's more general
Well,
and
I don't
gives
know if
you a
I
little
planned
more
that far ahead. I
taste.
don't even know what I'm doing next week. Next,
I hear you there.
I just know I'm counting down the days till summer, but no. Uh, yeah. Well, I know this weekend I'm excited because I get to go. Both my kids are racing, and just and I get to go see Sam. I haven't seen him in a while, and it's his birthday. He's turning 20. I can't believe I'm at a 20-year-old, but he's turning 20. But so get to do a double whammy. Get to watch Kins Friday, Saturday, and then he's racing Saturday evening up in Portland. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to because I
Yep.
love watching my kids race, and I haven't seen Sam in a while. But as far as racing goes, I I know. Um, I'm hoping I'm gonna go up to Paul's race. That's probably be my next kind of have a I kind of a redeem myself race because in the 108K up there. So, but we'll see. I don't think he's overly happy about that because of just getting done with 100 miler, but see
Yeah.
how things go. And then I don't know. I kind of I get new things every day from people that asking me to do stuff. So, but I know I have a entry in the CCC over in Chamonix for the 100K over there, um, which I'm still going back and forth if I'm going to do it or not. And then uh, definitely have 100% going to go to Greece in September for a stage race. Um,
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to miss it. It's a one and done type thing that it's the people I ran it's the same company that I ran the Gobi Desert with. They're putting it on, and uh it sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. And so I'm like, and I miss my family. I miss my family. So I'm like, I need to go back and see some people that yeah, so I'm gonna do that. And I don't really, I really, really, I don't know if it'll happen, but I really would like to go to Thailand in December and race.
Mm.
That's kind of been a country, Thailand, Vietnam, kind of been like on my bucket list of things I would love to go see. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see where my training's at. If I'm even able to go, I don't know. But I'm sure there'll be some shorter races squeezed in between those months as well. Because fall time here in Oregon's like our races just explode like late summer, fall, and so I'll probably be doing some shorter races around here too. But and probably be up at Mount Hood for a race up there. I just don't know what distance yet. So, um, and then I guess it's going to happen. Depends what happens in the drawing for Western States. If I get picked, I mean, obviously we'll run Western States next year. If I don't, then just keep on trucking. Uh, but uh, uh, so yeah, so I don't know, but just kind of everything always lingers on the drawing, and then I start planning my year, and after that, just just by an off chance that maybe I'll get drawn. So, and if I never do, I never do. It just wasn't meant to be. No big deal, right? So, and then I know with Paul's discretion, and um, I think I was told that he wouldn't coach me if I did it. So I
Yeah.
coached me for it with it.
Yeah.
I really want to do Cocodona. That's like my big A goal for next year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been wanting to do that race since they created it. And I just would really like to do it. I love Arizona, and it's just been yeah, it's been on my list. And of course, my coach, he's against all that big stuff, but I really want to do it. I want to, again, I love to just test the human body to see what I can do, and just to show people that hard things can be done. They can be done. It hurts. It's not fun all the time, but I just really like to just push the limits more and more. So,
Well, I see. I think Cam's getting to the end, or he might have finished. I didn't
oh yeah,
see before. I didn't see the last post I saw that he was getting
yeah.
close to the end. They were waiting for him at the finish line.
Okay, good,
So
good.
he's got
Yeah, he's one of my
another.
teammates. I always get excited to follow him. So,
Exactly.
um,
That's where I was going with that with Speedland.
so
Well, here's a secret here. If you get into Cocodona, we won't tell Paul because I don't know if he'll listen to this far into the podcast if he listens to it.
let me delete this part out.
Yeah. And I'll come down and help be one of your crew because that would be fun.
Yeah.
I just love. I would. I think that it's just one of those races that intrigues me. I know.
Yes.
I know I would never make times or anything but I would love to be there watching you do it.
I would.
You know,
That would be really cool. That would be
and
really
I
cool.
understand the tough. I know. Here's the other thing is like when Cindy and I are like when I like doing. I mean, I have nothing on you guys, but like when I do my 40 is like Cindy knows when I want to talk, and there's times that you just don't say a freaking word, and you're
Yeah.
just tired, and you're in your head, and
Yep.
And I
Yes.
didn't do 100 miles, but I mean, like I said, we did a little over 40, but we're traveling. That's a
Yeah.
problem because we have to travel from mountain to mountain to mountain.
Yeah.
But you're still up 24 hours. We made it in 24 hours, so that's the
Yeah.
part that I like. But this year, I'm going to go climb a mountain. Instead of do that, I'm going to climb Mount Peel. I've just decided that flying by the seat of my pants to go climb. Yep, going to go climb Mount Peel Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so.
And
I love hearing that. That's so
because
great.
I've done 7 peaks, I've done 5 peaks, I've done this and that, and here's the reason I'm going to climb Mount Peel. And I'm going to put a post out about this, but the reason I want to climb Mount Peel is that's where I went mountain goat hunting. I was the first
Ooh.
non-resident in that area, and I could see Mount Peel. But it's one of those things you can see
Mhm.
it, but I didn't climb it,
Yes.
and it stays in
Yeah.
your head until you do it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I get that.
And it's kind of like, to me, it'd be like for you to see Cocodona and not do it.
Yeah.
It's like we have goals in our heads. This happened years ago. We were elk hunting, and I could see this top of the mountain, and I'm thinking, and a bull started bugling, and I thought,
Oh,
well, you got to go after the bull, and
yes. Oh,
went
wow.
back. About 5 years later, went back and climbed that daggone mountain because it was there.
Oh.
You have to go. I have to finish these things that get in my damn head.
Yeah, I get that. Yes.
you know, and it's something within me. It isn't like anybody saying that. Nobody would know that I want to climb Mount Peel, and there's no
Yeah,
trail. There's really no trail to it, but I've decided, you know what? I'm going to take off and I'm going to go climb it. I might have a buddy coming now, but he it's one of those things that I you can you can put gasoline in your vehicle and you can put dreams and goals in your mind
yeah,
and you can go do a lot of things. And I got a sleeping bag, tent, and it's going to be more gas because you got to eat wherever you're at.
yeah,
That's just
yep, yeah,
that's one rule of life, or you're going to die if you don't eat.
right.
So, and I can sleep, and we're just drive down there and climb it and go on an adventure.
Wow, it's gonna be so
So,
fun. Are you
so
gonna
I
try
that
to climb it to get see the sunrise, or are you just gonna take your
well
time and?
that isn't. I don't know yet because I know how long it would take to get up there, so we'd have to start damn early. But we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
talk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna if my other buddy comes, but if he doesn't come, you never know what might happen.
You never know what Rick's gonna do. Just don't know.
Because because I decide to go do things. I, I I am one of these people. Like I said, if my buddy doesn't come, I'm still going
Good.
because
Good.
I'll ask you to come once, and I might remind you a second time,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to ask you a third time because I don't need
Mm.
to.
Yeah.
That's
You
telling me
already
you
answered
don't
it,
care.
right?
Exactly. So
Mm.
we'll get this stuff figured out, but I thought, and it it's one of those deals I got to go do. It's
Yeah. I totally understand. Like you're saying, don't die rusty. You gotta go do it before you can't. Right?
exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably put this post out so people will hear. I'm probably gonna climb Crow Peak tomorrow night, and I'll put the post out that I'm gonna go on a different adventure and climb it, but just because, let people know what I'm doing. But no, you don't die rusty. You got to keep moving. You got to
Yeah.
share with people, and
Yeah.
that's why this this friendship we have and all of our other friendships mean something, and then we got to chase our goals.
Yeah. It's not to keep you much longer, but
No, you're good.
I was at the gym the other night, and there's an older lady that's always like there, like around the same time I'm there, and she's always on this rowing machine, like rowing and rowing and rowing. And I was in the room, and I got my mat out to do my work I needed to do, and she comes over and she was asking me about my shoes, and we got to talking, and she just when like it's like one of those people that you just like you hope to strive to be when you're the age that she was at, because um she was 81 and still moving like she was probably 60. Just do and but I thought of you because she said to me, I told her I just thought it was phenomenal what she was doing, and like, I hope that I can be like you and I'm your age and still being at the gym, and she just goes, once you quit moving, once you stop moving, you stop moving, and so
Mm.
she goes, I walk every day and I come here and I go, I know you're on your rowing machine for a long time every day because I see you. And so, but yeah, she just was like, yeah, just once she goes, I just really believe once if I quit moving, I'm not going to be able to move again. So, um, she just keeps on going.
That's what we got to do in life.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Well, thank you so much for this conversation again. I feel lucky because maybe this is your social night out, and I got to be that one night.
I was doing it for you. Sorry, I missed it yesterday. It was just
N-
kind of a little bit of a crazy day yesterday. So,
no, you're
um,
fine. But
but,
thank you
yeah,
so much. I
I know.
appreciate all of our conversations, and I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate Paul for, coaching you guys, and then I get to talk to you guys, and that's how we met. And
Yeah.
I love, like I said, you, Paul, Emily, I know, and I just look at you guys and say, how did I get so lucky to even talk to you guys,
Oh, well, no, I feel pretty grateful that I got to meet you. I do. I do.
Well, we're gonna get together in Oregon, and then we'll talk. We'll keep the Cocodona thing quiet.
Between you and me and my family. That's it. Nobody else needs to know.
Nobody needs to know. But like I said, those kind of races intrigue me because I like to look within what the people are going through, and I don't know what it is. It just interests me what's inside people's heads, So anyway, but thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Don't Die Rusty podcast with your hosts, Rick Hanson and Ricky Bruley. The Don't Die Rusty podcast is written and produced by Rick Hanson and Ricky Bruley. You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook at Don't Die Rusty. You can rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You might find your review read on a future episode. Got a question for the Ricks? Send us an email at don'tdierusty@gmail.com. It too could be featured on a future episode. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Don't Die Rusty podcast wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.